I didn't watch the original anime, well, season 1 till like maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, that sounds a long time, but it's
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh sense it's not. I
Yeah.
started when like Emperor Dragon was a thing, like
Okay.
Kaiba summoning Emperor Dragon.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty deep. Yeah, that's pretty deep.
it's deep, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the first time I watch it because like I'm immediately encapsulated by the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm like,
Yes.
all right, cool. I want to play. So like me and Lazaro used to play chess at school, and the only reason we played chess was because you had a chess tournament in the middle of the year where you got to leave school for like 2 or 3 days, and if you did well at chess, you would go to multiple tournaments and leave school. Naturally, we both started to become good at chess, just
Right.
originally to quit school, not
Yes.
quit school, just to like an
Just to
extra day
get
off.
days off. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but Lazaro actually ended up winning medals, and it's because I taught him. So in chess, there's like a 3-move setup that you could checkmate them right away, and I would show him, and then he would just dummy all the grade 3s with this move. And Lazaro got I don't even know the name of this move, but anyways, Lazaro got all the way to the quarterfinals, and then Lazaro does it, and then the person obviously knows, he sets up defense for it, and then Lazaro's just like, oh, well, I guess you win because I don't know.
I don't know how to play for this. Right.
He's like, I don't know how to play past turn 4.
Yeah. And that's the current Yu-Gi-Oh right now. I mean,
It is. It doesn't even
turn
make it to
3
turn
and 4 is
4.
unheard of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so completely encapsulated by Yu-Gi-Oh right away, and I just spend my money, my lunch money, or my allowance, and Lazaro's lunch money, and we're buying cards. And eventually, this one friend, we amass a deck together, and we start playing. And I remember double tributing for I'll remember this in my kitchen. I double tribute for a Barrel Dragon against his face down monster, and I miss its effect, and I attack into a Metal Scorpion. And what Metal Scorpion's effect is, if a machine monster attacks this, it dies like 4 turns later.
Oh my god.
And I was just like, wow, this is like the anime. Like something
So specific, right? Like such a specific interaction.
so specific. And I was just like, man, I love this game. And then that deep dive into it, my friends
That's what
stopped
made
playing.
you love the game.
Everything, like I truly love Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's so cool.
No, me too,
Like-
man.
Like there is artwork on my wall of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I don't know if you've seen, I finally finished my Red Eyes frame.
I did
And
see
that's
that.
the thing.
That looks great. Also, that's probably worth so much money now.
Yeah.
Because I know you know the price of cards has gone up tremendously. I don't know if you and your brother kept anything as far as cards go, but cards are worth a lot.
We could talk about big misses that I have, but
Yeah.
But yeah, again, so fall in love with Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, I start to spend money on the game, and we kind of understand it pretty quickly, right? Like me more than Lazaro. I understand how to play. I'm beating my friends at school, and my parents' dental clinic. There's a card shop outside, and one day I don't know what tournaments are. I come on a Saturday. I don't normally come on a Saturday to my parents' clinic because they're so busy, but for some reason I'm there and I see a tournament going. So I'm just watching. I'm like, oh shit, I got Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I'm watching these people play, and I decided to go next week. And at this store is one of my first Yu-Gi-Oh friends I've ever met, and it's Dexter Dalit.
Okay, I know that name.
Yeah, so he goes to Worlds twice. He's unfortunately only like he only stayed in Canada. He rarely traveled.
Yeah.
So, but he did very well.
A local legend.
He juiced me. He was the first person that juiced me.
He was a Silverman. He was your Silverman.
So bad that anyone else that got ripped off by me can thank this guy.
Right, he started that.
Dude,
He started it.
Okay, I don't know if you remember the Shonen Jump Blue Eyes. I was playing Blue Eyes deck.
Right.
Do you remember that Shonen Jump Blue Eyes, in the first magazine with the world behind them?
Yes, I know exactly. I have that.
Yeah. Oh, you still have it?
Of course.
Okay.
I don't like to trade cards really. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and when I started working like 10 plus years ago in like a real job, I realized how ridiculous it was to trade back and forth with people for like $5 difference because everyone's trying to get over by some margin. I used to
Yeah.
hate it because I'm like, at this point, I'm making real money and I'm not arguing with anybody over $5 or $10. I'm just not. So I just completely shut down trading. Like I just bought what I wanted and I would just put my cards in the house and that was it. I stopped completely carrying a binder, telling people my trades. I couldn't do it anymore. So I have like a lot of my old stuff.
In terms of
But
Blue
yeah, go.
Eyes, I think I have that art too. Because I'm sure they've printed more arts now, but at a point in time, I had every art of Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
So
Blue Eye?
I should still have the world one. Because I never traded it.
Yeah. It's very expensive.
Yeah. And like, so basically, my Blue Eyes deck, unbeknownst to me, that I had probably the highest rarity because I had first said LB Blue Eyes. I'm like, I
Okay.
need that card.
Those are wild. Now I
Yeah.
don't think I have those.
I was like, I need that card, and I didn't even really ask anything about it. I'm like, name your price, right? So he goes to my binder, and I have a lot of stuff ready. I have like Jinzos when Jinzo's new, Imperial
Yeah.
Order secrets from everything, and he like takes my first page of my binder, right? And first page is usually the best page, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like ear to ear smiling, right? Because I'm like, I got this new sick Blue Eyes. This guy goes in the store and buys another magazine and just opens it in front of me.
Oh shit. So he wanted you to know too.
He wanted me to know. And he just
Wow.
pulled it out. And I'm like, holy shit. And then that starts me destroying people with trades.
Yeah, that was the beginning of
Yeah.
the Ruthless Dale. After that, you were no
Yeah.
longer
But
the
anyway,
cycle.
so back to like, it's so funny how like all this comes together. But when I start seeing competitive play, they tell me online, or you can win a trophy. Do you remember the big Duelist Kingdom trophy?
Yes, the
Like
the
the
Millennium
Millennium Puzzle?
Puzzle. Yep. So real quick, when you say you started watching competitive play, with all due respect, Dale, you are competitive play. Like what was competitive play before you guys? You're in the first like article on metagame. Like what is competitive play in your eyes at that time?
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, not competitive play, organized play.
Okay, they call it that. Call
I
it
like to say organized play.
okay.
And organized plays like was at the time Duelist Kingdom, and that's how you qualified for 2003 Worlds.
Right.
So whoever was the best, like whoever did the best with their UDE number at a store, won the most, got to play at Worlds that year. And I was already late in 2003. I think Worlds just finished. But what I got to do is I got to look at, so how I search for people is I looked online, and it was like a Duelist Kingdom. Um, it showed like a Duelist Kingdom map of which stores and who are the best players. So at my first store, it was called EK Trading. We became the best players there, and I was like, you know what? I was already driving, so I just got my driver's license, and like the first thing I wanted to do, I'm like, oh shit, now I could drive the locals, which is
Yeah.
cool. So I would go to whatever local and find the best player there and beat them, and like just like try to solidify like
Yeah.
a dog barking his territory type of
Yeah.
thing.
Establish
So
dominance.
and this is how and I already had good cards, right? You talk about Frazier. You said this one thing: swinging a sword at a playground.
Yeah.
I'm swinging two swords all day long, like like you'll understand why, but. I go to, and this is how I meet my team, my future team.
Right.
I go to a store called Image, and the best player there is Matt Peddle.
Yep. I know him too. He's
So,
a household name from back in the
yeah.
day.
And Lazaro just tags along. He's just my younger brother. He's not super competitive, but he's watching me hustle people for trades
Boy,
and
how things change, right?
I know, crazy, so crazy. But we end up I end up winning Image, the Image Collectibles tournament, and I meet Matt. I go to the next store is Untouchables, which kind of becomes my home because that's the best store um in the GTA in the Greater Toronto area.
Mm.
And this
It's
is the
called
first store.
GTA.
Yeah, I know, right? And
Wow.
it's it's the first store with adults, like older people in university, and I'm still in high school at the time.
Mm.
And I'm just like, okay, the skill level is much better here. And I go to my first tournament, and I don't win, but I lose in the finals to a guy that like never wins there. I lost to like a Guardian Sphinx, that I couldn't deal with because it was
Yeah.
24 defense. It kept bouncing my shit.
And that card back in the day, that was like a little lock, right? Like Guardian Sphinx could literally lock you.
Yeah, and I was just like, I was getting dummied by that, and eventually I become the king of that store. I'm
Yeah.
gonna use the word king, right?
Okay.
I run that store. I run Mississauga Yu-Gi-Oh, and at the time, organized play has evolved into regionals. So we get our first regionals announced in Toronto, and the way we communicated back then was forums like Pojo,
Yeah.
right? Pojo, and before Pojo, there was something called Yu-Gi-Oh Realms,
Oh
and
shit! I remember Yu-Gi-Oh Realms.
yeah, so
I definitely
Yu-Gi-Oh
never heard of
Realms,
Yu-Gi-Oh
Pojo,
Realms.
and then later on Duelist Grounds.
Duelist
So
Ground. Yeah.
at the time, Yu-Gi-Oh Realms is shifting to Pojo, and almost everyone's on Pojo. So like I joined Pojo, and I'm like, oh, this regionals. Um, I post down like I'm gonna top this regionals easy, and then a bunch of people from the province, like the state, for example,
Yeah.
that don't know Toronto or don't know this area, but like are like, who are you? You're random. You're talking shit. I'm like, I'll play you for money. I've been playing for cards forever. Like I was the rare hunter. I would go play people for cards. I would lose. I'm like, all right, I'll put up more. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like blackjack. If I keep doubling up,
Double up.
eventually I win it all back.
Yeah, because
So
you're confident.
yeah, and like I had the best cards. So
It's okay. So it's. I want to interject here. It's interesting to me. You were good pretty much from the start, but like, how did you? Because when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I didn't even use the rules. Like how you play Pokemon, you just made up your
yeah,
own rules. I didn't even use the rules, and by the time I found out about advanced rule set, like how to play for real, tributing monsters instead of just summoning blue eyes, and like
yeah,
constructing a real 40 card deck with sleeves. By the time I knew about how to do that kind of thing, Yu-Gi-Oh was already completely organized. Like there was metagame was already going. There were Shonen Jump champions and stuff. But like I learned because of you guys. How did you learn to begin with? Like you guys set the standard for what became competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. But like, did you and Lazaro just play test against each other or something? Like, how did you figure out like this card is better than this card? Hey guys, if you like this clip, we have full video versions of our podcast episodes available on the I Am Nerd Patreon, as well as exclusive content.
If you'd like to listen to our full podcast episodes or find us on any other social media platforms, you can do so by clicking the link tree below.